5 worst things that happened on our trip out west.
Never again.
So this is going to be a fun video. We are going to talk about some of the 5 worst moments on our trip. We're going to talk about it comically. It's funny, right? Everybody has these moments on a trip that's just terrible. They usually don't always make it to Instagram, right? That's the ones you don't always share.
Instagram's the highlight reel.
Absolutely. But we want to take this opportunity to share with you some of our top 5 worst moments and then what we learned from them to hopefully help you, because you're always going to have these moments that don't go your way. And when they do, and when you run into that, you just kind of have to get through them and continue your trip. And hopefully this information we share will still show you that traveling with an RV is still the best way to travel. It is so fun, it is so fulfilling, even in the hard times. So let's get into this. Okay, so we're going to start with number 5, work our way to 1 as being the worst. So Mandy, what was number 5?
So I would say definitely the non-stop travel. So for 5 months, we were constantly having to move every month, every 2 weeks.
Here we go, we're heading out.
And then there's the baseball field. Whoa. And we are stuck in traffic.
Is our first ever Harvest Host Day. It's a travel day. All right, we're heading out to Wyoming. All right, we just pulled in, Andy. Finally here.
It's amazing. It is so beautiful.
They're packing up the generators, hitting the road. All right, now we are packing up, and it's time to finish the rest of our trip. Today is a travel day. Heading on our last leg of this journey to our Harvest Host for the night. So we have landed in Montana. It's an absolutely beautiful morning. Pack them up and hit the road. Seating on the road. All right, guys, on the road again.
And just that constant being on the road, not having anything familiar around us, kind of isolated. We missed our family and our friends terribly. So that was a really hard thing for us, especially for me as a female. I just tend to be a little bit more emotional about those things. So I would definitely say that was a big hurdle for us, and we were so happy when we have finally gotten back to the east, because we're around familiar things now and familiar people. So I would definitely keep that in mind if you're going on an extended trip. Marco Polo is great, FaceTime is great, but the actual in person, it's you can't beat that. And so just keep that in mind if you're going on an extended trip. And be sure to take the options of Marco Poloing and FaceTime and texting and calling. And, something that we've learned is, we really didn't like the extended travel. And so that's something that we are working on changing and doing differently for next year.
Number 4. Weather.
We basically picked the worst times to go to these places.
Texas is hot. It's well over 100 degrees out here this evening. It's still completely covered, buried in snow. We were so excited to get a beautiful campsite with tall trees around it until
A windstorm.
a windstorm. So we haven't beat the weather. It's raining. Oh, and it started hailing on us. It's picking up. It was crazy. So that's why it's made it to our number 4. Number 3.
I will take this one since it was my fault. And that would be backing the truck into the camper.
How much farther can I come back?
You can come back, come on back.
You see how? Okay, hey, now just pull up and then just back in here at an angle. She hit the tongue on our 5th wheel.
What happened?
I don't have words. I don't have words.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad moment for me, and like, you know, as a wife who has a husband that adores his truck, that was a big uh-oh for me. So that kind of put a little dent into that particular trip. And of all things, it was my birthday weekend, so that was another bummer about it. But yeah, so definitely back in the truck into the camper.
And I'm not saying I handled it well, but I could have acted worse. So I'm kind of proud that I held myself together on that. You're going...
It still made me cry.
Look, camping involves equipment. Equipment is going to get damaged over time. You just have to roll with it. You know, hopefully you don't run into the same issue that we did with actually backing into your 5th wheel. But if you are traveling and you putting miles on your rig, you're gonna have dents and dings along the way. You can't let it get you down. You can't let it deter you from your trip. Dips happen. You just have to keep moving through them and understand that, like, they're just things. And RVing is all about making memories, and the memories are what's more valuable than the things. But it definitely was one of those tough moments on our trip, and that's why it's made it to our number 3. Number 2, and rather it being a specific moment, it was moments of worse things, and that was
The cost of gas. You guys, it was astronomical. We are going to go into more detail next week. We're going to break down how much it cost for going out west, where we stayed, the gas prices, all of that. But just know, gas was so high. And like in certain places, it was almost $5 a gallon. So gas was definitely more than we bargained for.
crazy expensive. So many stops. If we could have gotten t-shirts from all these gas places, they should send us a t-shirt because we funded their light bill.
We
probably
should be sponsored by Love's. That's all I'm saying.
100%. First time getting gas on the way to Colorado. Gas again. It's another beautiful day to stop and get more gas. I think Love should give me a t-shirt at this point. How much money they've got out of me today. The fun-filled day of getting gas. gas. Gas again, and gas again. Gas again. We have gotten so much gas today. I think this is like my 4th gas station. Expensive. And it equaled our number 2 worst thing about traveling out west. And now, without further ado, we're going to talk about our number 1 worst thing that we deemed that happened to us on this trip out west. And it can be summed up in 2 words: tire trouble. Got a tire trying to get a little low on me this morning, so got to inspect it, trying to get it pump back up like we needed. It was only down a few PSI this morning, so we'll see. We had a flat tire. Heading out today to get that fixed. So we ran into some bit of trouble. I noticed right before we got to our campground earlier today, my front steering was felt like it was hopping down the road. I don't know if you can see it. There's this big bulge right here. So I had a belt breaking my tire. So my truck has a check engine light, tire pressure light. I'm stuck in 4th gear, and the only way I can get to the next Dodge dealership is to go over that mountain pass. So here's the thing, as I'm driving down this mountain, just some thoughts. If you're not willing to deal with problems proactively, traveling full-time is not for you. If you're not willing, today's a random Tuesday, and I went to change tires, bam, transmission problems, and the only solution was to drive 2 hours away through a mountain pass to get to the next town. All right, made it over the pass, headed down now. You can see the fog down in the valley. That was a very interesting climb. So I'm in a Dodge, but I'm not in my Dodge. I had to get a rental car, which ended up being a truck, and I'm on my way back. This has been one of the craziest trips. We had so much tire trouble. The roads out west were so rough.
Use your spare 3 times.
I ended up buying an entire set of new tires for my truck. 2 at one time, 2 at another. It was a big headache for us. It was by far the number 1 thing for us, the worst on the trip. But I have to say again, in the midst of that, our trip was amazing. We got to see so many cool things, so many good memories, and we've learned now to laugh about those hard times when they come about. Maybe you're not laughing immediately, but
no, I'm still. I think I'm not quite far enough out of the trip yet to laugh at everything.
We've got to get the body shop to figure out how bad the damage is on the back of our truck before we can really laugh about that one, probably. But
yeah, we'll probably cry again about that.
Rving is about adventure, and in an adventure, everything's not going to go smooth all the time. Maybe you get good trips throughout, but you're going to have those hard times. It still doesn't take away from it being
especially when you're on the road for 5 months.
Yes.
For an entire spring and summer.
5 months is a very big endeavor.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we did it. We learned a lot. We've come back with a lot of knowledge. Hopefully things that we can share with you and educate you on as time goes. But overall, just a great trip. Isn't that what everybody says is a great trip? It was a
We'll let you
epic-
know next week when we break down the cost. Was it worth it?
Was it worth it? It's going to be an interesting conversation. So we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching.